Hello, hello, featuring the invisible hand from the darkness, known as Nard. Welcome back to Monday to Star Wars Ashes, Season 2, Episode 4. Usually one of the better episodes, if we're going to make references.
I'm
Eh?
trying to
Eh?
think if I can apply to. I'm trying to think if I can apply to any other part of like the Star Wars canon than just the movies.
Is that will burn my Twitch to the ground if we start that conversation. So, probably don't need to
Oh,
go.
it's not already a flaming wreck?
Ow. Oh.
I
Oh.
think he's getting you back for the one you hit me for earlier.
I didn't even hear it.
Jeez. Anyways, the recap.
Hey, let's gotta stand together.
What these motherfuckers were doing last week. We opened up on Jomer doing his guitar concert performance at the cantina that he kind of got a show for. It went mixed results, mostly good. Didn't, they had the conversation with the bartender, could have sold more food, could have kept people there and not gotten them as drunk as quickly, yada yada yada. Place was all right, but he'll be back with more performances, surely, in the future. There was a bit of a scuffle he managed to avoid and yell people out of the bar, and we got to see a scene of some of the mercs that kind of heavy-handedly dealt with the problem. Then it went over to Tarka to have his, skip to the morning, obviously. And there was Jomer stumbling back to the ship drunk. I did forget the little exchange there. And Kato was just kind of like, what the fuck? Then, yeah, we turn over to the morning. Tarka goes to see Phantom and have his talk with him about the upcoming, or about the mission and where he stands with things. And he got treated to a very, I'm going to say, Iron Man-centric display of his self-worth for Phantom and his community. Ended up having a meeting, met the person. Tarka obviously didn't really like his approach to things because he's a very upfront warrior of stuff, so he doesn't like all this political positioning and banter and so forth and so on. But he agreed to take on the job. We got to get a little bit of sight of, or no, I guess he didn't really agree to take on the job per se, but it's still heavily considering it, and some more parameters were given about it. It was a former friend that they have to go and capture, last seen at Nar Shaddaa, and the prize would be like 20 grand in credits. He brings that back to the crew. They discuss it a little bit and consider that maybe they'll do it after Tatooine, but they're going to go leave and do Tatooine. So, the lift off, Kato kind of white knuckle driving the ship and head out and get to Tatooine. They see a Imperial Corvette abandoned and kind of adrift in orbit, and a orbital platform also being built as a small kind of like a docking station for ships and stuff like that. Seems like Tatooine is kind of loosely starting to prosper. They end up settling down in Anchorhead and start going about gathering information, of which Jomer went to the bar and talked up some people and used Tarka as a weird social information gathering wingman in a certain sense. And they were able to ascertain that the area around or the Imperial Fort Ironhead itself, head or hand, one of one of those H words, is basically a war zone of scavenging and people trying to get after the stuff in the fort. Combined with BixMD using some surveillance of communications, has found something akin to that. Basically, not very much Imperial communication, but a ton of other communications of various different sorts and attachments. And Kato, the big kind of, I guess, becoming a suspenseful moment. It didn't seem like he was doing too much. He was just grabbing a speeder. What could go wrong? It's the whole he's going out towards to Fort Ironhand now with the speeder. And that is where we're going to kick off the session. So, Cato, amongst the dry, insatiable desert heat that you whip through at speed, with the force field special effect underneath, so we don't see the wheels of the speeder.
Vaseline.
Yeah, yeah. You head out from Anchorhead, you go whipping across, and you end up taking a pause near a large, straight up, like, pillar of rock formation, because you hear the, rumble of explosions and the flash of blaster fire a bit off into the distance. And you maybe, like, hop out, take maybe a look around the pillar from, like, a somewhat safest vantage point, and you gaze upon the war zone before you. So the kind of pyramidal type fort structure of the Empire that sits kind of a bit on a raise of land, like a soft hill, not a massive mountain or big hill or anything, but it's got some elevation to it, relatively minorly though. Black pyramidal structure, a lot of fairly wide perimeter around it of a wall in between it and the actual main structure, but it's under siege, kind of. There seems to be a lot of different parties fighting around the kind of where the main gate is, but kind of off to the side where a smoldering charred hole in the blackish wall now sits. And they seem to be trying to like fight their way in, and there's like one side, or like what currently a group that don't seem to be Empire affiliated, that's trying to like hold against the rush of forces coming at them in the battle that's kind of going back and forth. There's even like some kind of like foxholes even that have been used. Sometimes it's just craters of explosions that people are hunkered in as they're shooting back and forth. There's heaps of ATSTs that have like fallen over that people are kind of shooting from behind as cover. Again, none of them dressing as Empire, and there's like, it seems there's a lot of parties fighting. Like there's like half a dozen different spots of fire that are shooting at almost all the other spots of fire. Blaster fire. And the Imperial Fort itself is, there's parts of it that have been damaged along the wall. The insides are, you don't see really anything much going on the inside. There's a couple, peppering of people that are kind of wandering around, kind of running back and forth to spots, but no one dressed as Imperials. And there's not really much in terms that's laying around amongst on the inside much. Again, it's like, heaps of damaged, empty crates, things of that nature. And you look off to your left and right to the broader view, and on the left you see like a handful of ships, of familiar looking ships in terms of the colors and the insignias on them, and they've set up almost like a beachhead formation, sort of like its own little camp. And probably knowing how things are, you get that kind of like little hollow feeling in your stomach for a moment as you realize that it's the Quasar Riders. And off to your right, you see like a peppering of other small like encampments where ships have settled in, and people have kind of put up their own little, like, not sandbags, but something equivalent to that around their own little spots that have kind of hunkered in like a little loose spread out collection of stuff. And you do kind of spot a kind of, and amongst the closer ones, kind of a familiar Lancer pursuit craft. You swear you saw that. Where was it? It looks kind of like that craft that when you negotiate for that heavy turbo laser off that Mon Cal cruiser.
Oh. Huh. I don't think I got a name for that group.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, I don't think I got the name though. Personally, in my notes, I don't think I've asked for it.
Maybe you didn't write around. They definitely did have it. But you swear it's like it looks a lot like them because you had to like look at it for that whole time you were having the back and forth.
Oh yeah,
before.
no. I definitely recognize them. I just don't have. I don't know. Ah, it's them.
Right.
No, that situation. Hey there, you. Yeah.
So yeah.
So I have a pair of scanner goggles that's I think come with a set of very basic electro binoculars.
Okay.
Again, I use those to get a better look at everything.
Sure. Anything in particular you're looking for?
You said none of them looked like Imperials.
You have not spotted any typical Imperial clothing or figure types as you've been looking around.
Such a case, I think then I just want keep looking at all the combatants, try to divide up how many different groups there seem to be. Do I recognize any of the people on the battlefield? Just from underworld talk and whatnot. Who's leading the Quasar Raiders? Who's leading the inevitable Hutt forces that are down there? Because I'm going to call that right now.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see a hardest perception check, I guess.
Hardest.
Would a knowledge warfare help?
But you can't help me. We're with me.
Not really like. I feel like he's not trying.
I thought we were together. My apologies.
No. I tried to organize everyone together. I tried to organize people to groups. But
right. Now I remember. My apologies. I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. Continue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't even remember where you went, honestly.
I was sitting on the ship.
So
you didn't leave at all.
Let's do 3 purple.
3 purple? That's not bad.
Well, something
perception,
like
right?
Disable do.
Yeah, perception probably follow it up with an underworld. I'm gonna go ahead and use a light side point here, if that's okay with everyone. Gonna get that ball rolling. Prevent the GM from screwing me over. Yeah, you resemble it more like.
Tomato.
Ooh, yeah.
All right. So you notice most of them are smaller forces that you notice. Like handful, like maybe you've like run across them back on Neon before days got rough, or other loose bits of information. Just like, rogue, smaller group of ambitious groups of like scavengers and stuff like that are kind of ambitious and aggressive and of that nature. Some of them, there's a couple more that seem like they're more localish. They seem to have very like tattoo, born and raised type garb that are kind of here. So you're kind of catching a couple of groups that maybe have formed out of that. You see the large smattering of quasars, which are all kind of have their relatively distinctive similarity in sort of uniform, at least their shared color scheme and whatnot. Then you notice another kind of sizable force that's the only other really large numbers compared to the Quasar Riders, and they have like you maybe managed to like zoom in on maybe one of the soldiers, and they have like a little badge thing on their soft brown clothing and whatnot, and you just see like an insignia that has like tattooing and like wrapped up in like some sort of like wings or something, and there's like the initials of like TUF.
The undisputed French, I knew
The
it.
undisputed. And then
Ontario.
part of the other success is probably you like you scan over to that Lancer and where those people from them are coming to, and you finally start catching a couple familiar faces. You catch the Fouling woman that you talked to at the Roche asteroid meeting of the Kessel jockeys.
There's another name I don't have written down. Wait, no. Della, right?
Togruta woman, Platunian guy, human guy, and then Della herself as the Falian woman. But yeah, you see the whole like little group of them that are also here, and they apparently have hired some extra help, and they're helping try to like scrap and whatnot with it. And I think amongst, we'll call this probably the advantage part of it, is that you see a lot of the Quasar riders and you have them pegged out, but in the back near the group of their ships, maybe like in the front of their like little beachhead base that they have going on, is that you see make sure I kept screwing up the name before, good old Rayos barking orders and organizing stuff as they push forward and are making the battle a thing.
Well, I beat them once before. I think I can do it again.
I don't know. You don't have anything to swing from a ceiling this time because you don't have a ceiling.
I forgot about that.
So.
So, I would like to pass my advantage on to myself. I want to make an underworlds check. Knowledge underworlds check here.
Okay.
Try to figure out who these unknown parties participating are.
You might be able to do on that TUF badge thing. I think the rest of them, they're just like relatively
Just
nameless
thugs.
other organized. Like they're not anything of note.
Okay.
You don't determine. They're just people that are here maybe when they shouldn't be.
Scavengers.
Yeah, they're scavengers. They're basically how your crew was, right? Like
They're scavengers and mercenaries. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's about all I figured I would be able to get out of this anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna pass that advantage on to myself as a blue die.
Yeah.
And give myself a 3 purple once again.
And Underworld for the TUF people. Sure, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, how often are you around Tatooine in this part of the galaxy?
Probably not often. It's coarse and rough and gets everywhere.
Coarse and rough and gets everywhere. All right, we'll still keep it.
I like the joke.
Thank you. Thank you. This is why you're the best. This is why you're the best doctor.
But just,
if you weren't a droid, I'd pay you more.
Do we really want Cato the
bad
Anakin,
taste?
though?
That's why I'm the best doctor.
Sorry, what was that again there, Zal?
Do we really want Cato to be Anakin, though?
Liar! You turned him against me.
I could beat him compared to Anakin.
I could be.
What lecture be Dr. Beaks?
I mean, true. She's not Forcey, so yeah. All right, let's see how you just discern the yet. Wait till the B1 gets his new body, which is a B2.
Oh. Uh-oh. 3 purple then? Ah.
Yeah.
So shall it be? 10%. Ooh, no. This is the price
So
of greatness, kids.
you can give me how you end up finding this out once I say it. But so the TUF is the proper titles again. I don't like
Wait,
screwing up
hold on. Let me have a
my
look
own
here.
information here. The Tatooine Unification Front.
Oh.
They are a group of kind of hopefuls, I guess, potentially blind as such, that are trying to kind of bring Tatooine back under a more unified organization of like government and people, and taking this whole like Jabba the Hutt's gone, so let's actually be proper free people again type of thing. Let's build up Tatooine to being like, you know, a place on the galactic scale instead of always under someone else's thumb.
I should have rolled out a rim for this instead of Underworld.
I mean, they're, you know, depending on like some of their deeds and how they're behaving, like it's probably still kind of underworldly because like they're both kind of made their intentions known, but I mean they've also done things that are maybe not going over super well with some people. I mean they're also here, so they're actually going ahead and scrapping and fighting like a little mini war over this fort. So there's that to keep that in mind. But yeah, I mean you're not really getting, I think, a good sense of whether that means it's good or bad per se. I mean, it's just they are a group of people that have that goal.
They are who they are, and that is... Well, prop to them for trying, I suppose. Oh, did they just see me? I hope they didn't see me.
Well, if you get too many more threats.
So, we have the Quasar Riders. We have the... Unification Front guys, and we have Kessel Jockeys, along with nameless... How many different groups did it look like there were total?
In total, there's probably like 10 or so.
7, 8, 10. Oh.
Like the three names.
And how close are they?
Sorry?
And they're just kind of swarming over the old Imperial base at the moment? Or they're kind of fighting at its doorstep?
They're kind of fighting, generally around its doorstep, but there's like, it's kind of like this, it's almost like broken up into like sections where like some of the nameless groups will be fighting over like on the, like if the fort had like an entrance with a main path, you'll have like off to the down and off to the side, maybe like some of the groups are just trying to like squabble for position because they're like trying to get to the main road or trying to get to the front to do something, but then they kind of cut each other off. So they're like having like, it's almost like because you played WoW, so it's like the fighting in Crossroads in Arathi Basin. Like you're not actually on, you're trying to get to the flag and get the position to get to the flag, like get over that bridge, but you get caught fighting in the crossroads there, and then you just end up fighting pointlessly in there for no reason for the whole battleground until eventually the Horde loses. So it's kind of like that. There's a few that are there, and then but more closer to the fort, you have mostly the Quasar Riders making a lot of efforts and push, but they're fighting the Unification Front and a little bit of the Kessel Jockeys that are kind of clashing over the front of the base to really kind of get it. Like no one's kind of getting much of their hand in the cookie jar. It's like they're all trying to get that control of the cookie jar so they can start opening it up. But right now they're just kind of fighting over the front of it. And I said the gate seems to be well sealed, and there's just a hole that they're actually trying to fight over. That's the only real way to get anything in there.
Got him fed, and I'm like, all right, see.
About how much time does it look like I would have?
What do you mean? How much?
How's the battle look like? How's the battle sort of progressing, swaying, moving to and fro at the moment?
Very slowly. it's kind of trench warfare at this point. You know, they'll throw grenades or explosive at each other. They'll try to pluck blaster fire. Maybe some of them will try to move forward. Bunch of more blaster fire comes out. They scurry back, and it's very kind of loosely stalemated. Maybe slightly inching in the Quasar's favor. Like they kind of get more than they lose, man by man. But it's a very like the time that you're sitting here, even for like half an hour to an hour of time, like it's very like nothing's happening. There's no flash and bang and someone wins the war in just a couple minutes. This is a very kind of dug in, here for days and weeks type of thing. So you're just catching a sliver of the time that all this confrontation's been going on.
At least changes a few different things. At least we have some time.
And then as you watch, like, you know, like a starfighter comes by from somewhere, just like looking some like random off-brand starfighter, and you know the base that the Quasar Raiders has, you hear some machinery in the distance, and then like a rocket fires up from the ground and smashes into the starfighter, and it goes up in a plume of fire and smoke before all the debris kind of scatters down to the ground.
That's that plan gone. Time to go on to plan
Q.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, Kater's gonna like just kind of back off here, I guess, and go back. Start making his way back to Moss Shuda, was it? Anchorhead. Yep, he's just making his way back to Anchorhead.
Yeah, you make your way back to Anchorhead. Probably back to the ship, I'm assuming, to regroup with everybody. And you know,
yeah,
everybody
probably around the time. Cristiano is a good driver. He's not do calling and driving. He'll probably, like, as soon as he gets back to Anchorhead, if everyone is taking care of their business, we need to have a talk back to the remembrance. I found some things out about our target.
Oh, we're just watching our new companion do his work.
Yeah, what's Tarka and Ard doing with Shard?
I'm sorry.
Didn't we ever?
Say?
Sorry, did we completely resolve you three last week? I can't remember.
No, Jomer is still failing miserably to get information.
I mean, he got a fair bit. Well, sort of. He got some hints of stuff. Not really a lot of specifics, but he got a tone of stuff from that one guy, because he was trying to gather if anybody knew of where medical supplies would be, or if people had known anything about the Imperial Fort. So he was kind of in the roundabout territory. But I'd imagine there's probably not too much left to be had after Cato makes the comm to everybody in the group.
You're probably looking at like probably looking like at least a few hours there and back.
Maybe a couple. So anything that Jomer does?
No, I think interested though to hear the on the activity. I think it's going to ask a couple questions. Does it seem that any of them have sort of a line and goals? Maybe we can kind of consolidate the field so there's players to figure out.
Sorry, who is this to? The guy you were talking to last session? The guy at the bar still?
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I still? I thought we had all.
Well, I'm just
clarifying
whether, because Cato made the call, and I'm clarifying where everybody,
Calmly go and all of that.
where everyone's going with it.
Yeah,
They're still doing other stuff, or did we jump to everyone regrouped?
I'm ready to just regroup. I don't really have anything else I need to do here.
Bring Yomer back to the remembrance and wait for the captain to revive.
Okay. So, I mean, we could, you guys are regrouped back in the common area, the little center spot in the ship. Yeah, so you can say that again, Jomer, of what you said, and then have the discussion from there.
Yeah. I think Jomer's like, well, it might be easier to consolidate some of the players in the field. Fewer sides to negotiate a settlement. Perhaps there's some we can buy off, some we can settle kind of with a side deal. Narrow down the amount of people that are directly opposed. Did any seem like they had a line and goals? Common foes?
Did they?
Did any of them have any alliances?
Yeah, it was like, if I understand the question correctly, it was any of them kind of hyper focusing in on a single target.
No one was really being singled out. No. I mean, they're trying to get to the 4. That's obviously the share. That's everyone's goal. They're all after the prize, so to speak. But surprisingly, no one's been ganged up on. It's not like what you usually see in free-for-alls where like everyone but one target gets, like if it's like a four-man free-for-all, 3 of them gang up on one and then 2 of them gang up on one of the remaining, and then it just becomes a 1v1. That part of what typically seems to happen a lot in warfare, or at least gaming warfare, hasn't happened yet. Everyone's still kind of as on their own as they were, as far as you could tell.
Unfortunately, go on.
Well, Captain, it seems like it's a clusterfuck over there. And we have nothing to gain from get there. I mean, they're fighting right now outside the doors to get in where we know the medical supplies are. But until we have a concrete winner, it's just stupid to go in there and try to steal it.
If we wait too long, though, I think we risk losing what we are after to one of them, especially the Quasar Riders. They have the manpower to strip that place down to the bone if we let them.
Do you
We
think
have
they
time.
will win?
The numbers are on their side, but I do not know.
For what we know about the Quasar Riders, is they will, of course, kill all the opposition and strip that and then leave. That's how they work as scavengers, and they probably are scavengers still, right?
As far as I'm aware,
Did you tell us
Yeah.
that there was the allies of the girl runners there?
the castle jockeys, you mean?
Yeah, Castle Jockeys, yeah.
Yes, they were there. I was thinking perhaps we could open a line of communication with them, but whether or not that would be good or bad, I cannot quite say. We were on good terms after our last meeting, but things have changed considerably.
They're in there fighting a fight that you say they're probably gonna lose, so either we aid them to get extracted or we we do something about the castle jokers. Oh, or we do something about the Quasar Riders, sorry.
I think you have the right idea about it. They're not. Did I
This is
ever tell you-
Jomer Tarka.
If the fighting is so thick, then it may be prudent to wait. But it is your will, Drakowsk. If you would have them die now, then so be it. We may take advantage of the chaos. A small team could slip in and gain access to the resources.
Yeah, you know me, I'm very stealthy.
Kiro cannot remember if that's a joke or not.
I've
But
always claimed being stealthy, and I never failed you so far.
I don't remember. You're lying. Not. That's the bad part. Sneaking in was the first thought that crossed my mind. And I think it is still our best option. Problem would be if the Imperials are still in there. I didn't see them, but with the conflict outside their door, I wouldn't put it past them to just have locked themselves in and try to wait it out.
Do we have any 3D mapping of the place to find an alternate route in and how to sneak and find the medics to make an actual plan to sneak in and steal stuff?
I don't think.
I do have a probe that we could use if we want to get closer to it.
But instead of taking a top-down approach, what if we did a bottom-up approach? Do you think there's any sewers we could use? Biologicals need sewers.
Unless they have combustions and incendiary facilities in that thing.
How big is the complex? We're talking like, is it just like the typical kind of armory sized, or is it larger?
Man, I'm not good with land sizes for buildings.
How many football fields?
How many football fields?
We're doing
Yeah.
measurements American style, I see. How many furlongs per fortnight?
Yeah. Many ice hockey rinks then for you Canadians.
Oh god. Even
No,
that,
it's
I don't know how-
even that I'm a little rusty on too. Football.
In Midwestern North America, you got to measure your distance by time.
I think
Sounds
the
about
the
right.
base of the building is probably like
How many personnel?
three football fields side to side type of thing.
Oh.
So the same length, but it's just real like wider part if you put that, and that's the base, and then it would. Oh fuck, Mike's always annoying. Then it kind of pyramids up.
Okay, so there could be like
Kind of a huge
service
space.
It's
sewers
a relatively big structure because it is a fort, and then there's more space around the walls. Like the building itself is the 3 football fields, but then there'd be the wall that gives it another, fair bit of distance between that.
Here's the thing with Imperials. Is it cheaper to dump the waste or to build incineration and processing plants?
If building a whole sewer system is really expensive too.
Fair.
Well,
If
yeah,
you
but
care
so
about
is building an
property rights.
entire military installation.
So it's worth an invest.
Yeah, let's hit the computers and see if we can find any blueprints of the place. if we can find a weakness where we can maybe sneak in.
Worth a shot.
Hmm. So we
Do you
can.
think the ship computer is enough here, or do we actually have to go and find some Imperial information computer? Or shall we send a drone?
Was that a question to me or for the GM?
Always for the GM.
Oh, sorry, say that again.
So we want to make a move, me and Bix, throwing our heads together at the computer and see if we can find the blueprints for the base. Specifically looking for weaknesses for ins and outs. And if our ship computers are really hard to do it with, we need instead to think where that computer that had that information is.
So the trouble I'm having with something like that, because I don't know where that information would be that you'd even be able to access it. That's not the base itself, or like an Imperial like data center type of thing. Like I don't see anywhere on Tatooine that would just happen to have the schematics for Fort Ironhead. Do you know what I mean? That's the part
Yeah.
I'm struggling with.
That's okay.
Property
Me and
deeds.
Bix are then throwing our heads together and figuring out that that's not a thing.
Or we could say property deeds. Check quick property deeds, because the Imperials would, of course, had the paperwork to say that they have the pipeline, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, there could be some residual for that. I mean, it wouldn't be the blueprint of the base, but you'd get a residual
No.
of like a waste management or something. That
See if they have a larger underground base, if they have more of a land than they're actually using.
maybe,
like
yeah,
that.
you can get some indirect evidence. Sure, I think you might be able to like hack into some like government-based entities that might have some indirect information of that. But yeah, you don't really get direct stuff. But that's if that's what you would want, you could look for that.
I have another idea too. If we could go with proxy if we get close enough, and he can sneak around to get some information.
So, I mean, I assume deed records have got to be roughly available to the public. Is it something we can sink into the ship, or do we need to find a local terminal?
Something you could probably slice into the ship, but you probably still have to make a connection to the city of Anchorhead.
Local network.
Yeah, local
Yeah.
network.
Okay. Is it like dial up? Beep, beep, beep.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be dial up, but it would probably be still pretty shit. It'd be like, what was after dial up? DSL?
Oh, yeah. It's still around. If you have AT&T, that's DSL.
Be something, something akin to that. Dura DSL, of course, not just normal DSL.
The Dura DSL.
Every week we gotta get one of those jokes, and that's the
Right.
that's the standard.
We need like a rim shot on a soundboard. Dura, whatever. Put up.
So what would
It's a
be the
Dura
difficulty?
running gag.
What would be the difficulty?
Well, you're gonna probably need some. I think there'd probably be some mechanics first to get the hook up to the Anchorhead
Okay.
part from the ship. So I'll probably get like Nard to do some wiring and whatnot between the ship and stuff. So if he's on board with that, he can do a 2 purple mechanics roll. We'll see if there's anything that comes of that.
You mean that I'm gonna run with a hard wire to jack into the wall of Hammerhead somewhere?
Anchorhead. Yeah.
Right. Sure. That's not suspicious at all, but I'm willing to do it. How hard would that be?
2 purple.
3 purple. Bit. Would this absolutely no abilities to do that, except that I can reroll it.
Okay. Okay.
Was it?
Yeah, it was only 2, so actually it would be another success and no threat. So yeah, deal with it pretty
I
easily.
thought you said 3.
No, just 2.
Okay.
2. So yeah, easy success. Maybe even we'll probably make Bix's roll that much easier, because you do manage to find a good thread of connection. So we'll see how that will go, and then yeah, we see Bix kind of working away at using the connection with the ship to the local network and see what he can fish up. I guess because of all the successes, we'll knock it down to 2 purple, like being like 4 or so.
Where are you, computers? There you are.
Okay. You find that there is some, I guess, for the land reservation for when the Imperials were setting up the base, that there does seem to be indications of it going subterranean for at least a couple floors. Maybe not like, it's not digging into the core of the earth or core of the Tatooine or anything like that, but it's got a little bit of drop down. And waste, I don't think you find anything on any papers for waste management.
That's a negative. Not going to be getting anything in the sewers.
Did you at least find the full blueprints of the place? Any weaknesses?
Not so far. Mostly just land deeds. Couple of floors of the basement. Nothing too nefarious looking. We'll have to put my drone out there to gather all the information we can.
Hey, you have a drone too? What's your drone called? Mine calls Proxy.
I have not come up with a name for my drone yet. It has not had sentience, so I usually do not name things that don't have sentience.
Weak.
It's an interesting idea.
Proxy has sentience, don't you, little boy? I pet it like a dog.
Bix Jr.
Do you also name all of your wrenches? Spanners?
Yes. This is the Hulk, and this is the Jan Kina.
So Bix just stares for like a minute straight directly at him. Just turns and walks off.
Like
does
you
not know
not named your weapon. That's
He does
that
not know
awesome
how to
sword of yours.
process this.
Jan Kina. Oh my god. His gimmick is that you can see him.
Well, then hold it. Well, of course, you should always name your favorite tools, and all my tools are favorite.
Wait, if they're all favorite, how can they be favorite? Favorites.
You go
Hey,
compute
and
that,
he's walking
Bix.
off. He just can't handle this. So it sounds like, is there anything else anyone wants to do, or should we head out to kind of gather more direct information before planning a attack?
I think we should
Tarka,
go
you-
do some recon.
Yeah. You probably actually have the skill in recon stuff.
Kind of my thing.
Quite a hike to go there, isn't it, Kato?
It took me approximately 4 hours there and back on speeder. Did I get the fast one, or?
You got a triumph. I thought he got a third for free, like reliable. No, something.
He triumphed on it.
Yeah.
Try to
It-
come to the second one. Originally, I only found one thing I was looking for, if I remember correctly.
It was there was
Okay.
some weird side effect, but it wasn't related to the core 4 things. It was like some other. Yeah, and I can't fully remember what it was. Damn it! But yeah, he had like 2. I think speed was one. I don't think it would be 4 hours to and back. 'Cause it's supposed to be within the area of. I think it was probably like an hour there and back.
Oh, really?
Especially on speeder. Like the fort was supposed to be nearby. Like it's supposed to basically have Anchorhead as a thing that like when the Empire was actually around, that Anchorhead would have been their first thing they had in their iron grip. You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't be like off in the middle of buttfuck nowhere just because. Like they're going to be there so they can tower over the populace, right? The Empire kind of has that weird thing about kind of wanting to be seen in that sense, because if they're not seen, they're not intimidating.
So maybe 2 hours there and back.
An
3
hour, an
hours.
hour there and back. I think it was just an hour there and back.
Oh, okay.
Officers got a drink somewhere. It's not on base.
We still want to try and find an appropriate transport for all of us.
We also need something to transport all the medicine back, don't we?
Exactly. And I
I can
already
pack
have.
myself into an overhead storage compartment if that'll help.
It might actually. The dealers around here weren't exactly forthcoming with all of their.
I'm luggage.
So
Well,
yeah,
there
I
must be
guess.
vehicles on site. We could simply steal one.
Yeah, but how are we getting there, Tarka?
We walk. I'm like confused by this. Like, of course,
I look at you confused, like you said something I don't understand.
A saunter, you know, a meander, a good stroll.
We'll miss so many meals if we start meandering for hours in the desert.
I look you up and down. You could do to skip some.
Maybe we should take the ship there.
No. The Remembrance is not going anywhere near there. The Quasar Raiders have some kind of anti-air emplacement all set up.
Besides, to take a starship would invite far too much unwanted attention.
Walking is not a bad idea if you do want to approach all this stuff. Otherwise, I fear we may be
How many people does this speeder that he has fit?
just one, just me. Oh, what I was getting at is that we'd have 2, really.
2 seats.
Either way, what Kato was getting at there is that he would have to go and we'd have to acquire like another speeder.
Right.
Oh.
This job. Either
If
way.
you thin ones are willing to do the trekking, maybe I can go on the speeder with the luggage Bix, and we can set up our drones to do some surveillance until you arrive.
Can the mouse drone move around in the desert?
Can fly.
The mouse drone.
Well,
Proxy.
maybe I will leave proxy on the ship then. But your drone flies. Yeah.
I mean, I think the wheels just might need to be modded. Get some more all-terrain wheels on it instead of like in the.
Get a pair of treads.
Yeah.
I just thought of something really creepy. Give it little like 6 legs.
Oh no!
That's somehow terrifying. A mouse droid with 6 bug legs.
No, you give it 4.
It's
Maybe
like-
a doll head on top.
No, you give it 4, so it's actually more like a mouse. Just give it 4 mouse legs, and then it's a mouse droid.
That's why I want to make it creepy. 6 legs, 8.
That's called a spider droid.
Get several of them. It's a centipede.
Christ. Nard will make that too. He's gonna get a bunch of these together, and he's just gonna proxy be like a centipede droid. That
If
just
somebody stops using all the freaking light side, I could.
That's the problem.
Yep.
How much light side ever you? We haven't used that much.
We have none.
Wait, what?
What?
Oh,
Not enough.
Sync up. We've got 3.
yeah.
Yeah, but not enough.
Maybe.
Okay, so the plan is what? Nard and I go. The rest of you trek, or what?
I think so. Yes, I do. Like
Oh.
Tato definitely likes that particular idea. Get you guys ahead there and do some last-minute scouting. Calm link in with us with whatever you find, and that'll give us time to kind of prepare on our approach. Because chances are it's going to be the 3 of us going in.
Oh. I'll load
But
up
further-
for a meal to prepare as you arrive.
Furthermore, Zal, do I have Della's comm link information?
We're in a lane, that's basically it. Yeah, we fucking got it.
Don't recall.
Is that cheating?
I remember. Yeah, no, I should. I should have some kind of
I
contact
do
information.
feel like
I
she
was
gave it
off.
to you at the Roche meeting before everyone opened fire on each other.
We did, because there was a conversation. I approached them at some point because they made comment about being able to get into the Hut Palace of Mohan Topol.
Topol. Yeah, they were gonna make
That
a
was-
direct. They were offering a direct strike ability to put those droids that the Republic was looking to offload and get into Hut space for the create chaos. So yeah, I do feel like she gave comlink information. It does sound about right. You didn't get much off to the second meeting when you were just dealing with one of the lackeys over the turbo laser. Sorry, not hyper laser, turbo laser. But yeah, I think the original meeting. That sounds like that makes sense. Yeah.
That is exactly what happened. So yeah, in the meantime, while Nard is taking care of that, I'm going to try and see if I can get in touch with the Quasar Raiders, the Kessel Jockeys.
You're gonna call up the Quasar Raiders and be like, "Hey, enemy,
Yeah, no, I
how's
would
it
do it. Hey,
going?"
Quasar Raiders! Screw you! Click.
Well, it could distract them enough.
Hey, Quasar Raiders! Do you have Jabba in a can? Well, you had better let him out. Is your refresher running? You had best go and catch it.
Who let the job out? Who?
Who let the cat hounds out? Who...
Yeah.
Yeah, pick them off one by one. Tactics 101. Like,
Okay. And what are the rest doing when he's going to make the call to the Kessels?
I'm just checking over my stuff and getting ready to like go essentially. I mean, I'm faster than these guys are anyway, so realistically, I could just go ahead, start navigating terrain.
Yeah.
I mean, if you strap me to the hood of the speeder and
Yeah,
Shard just
Nard and-
rides on Nard's lap, I think we've got it. We can all fit in the
That was
speeder.
the plan. Nard takes the speed with Bix.
Well, if you put someone on your lap and strap a couple to the hood, we'd all fit. I mean,
Terrible
Tarka
idea.
would be
I love
running
it.
because Tarka would be prefer to run anyway.
What could go wrong, right?
Did we get the reliable? I can't remember.
Suddenly, the ion turbine starts thrumming in a really concerning fashion.
Kato
I
likes
may
the walking approach, though, particularly because it does provide a more stealthy entrance.
We could shuttle people. So, if there's no real complaints with at least the basics, Nard and I can start heading out and preparing.
That's what we're doing.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bloody